What's going on, guys? Today I'm back with another H.A.T format replay review for you guys. If you're interested in sending in your H.A.T format replays, you can go down to the video description and find all the information on how to go about sending those in. Anyways, the match I have for you today, we have Extra Power, who is going to be on Bujins, versus Zodiac Broadbull, who is going to be on Gem Knights. I know I've messed around with a couple different Gem Knight versions, so it'll be a little interesting to see what version they're actually on. I know there's a version that plays like Lightsworns, there's a version that plays like a lot of different types of extenders and advantage engines, such as like Volcanic Shell and things like, what's the one card? Quick Draw Synchron and different stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see, but anyways, let's get straight into it. Here, it looks like Zodiac Broadbull is going to win the die roll or rock, paper, scissors, whatever you want to say, and get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see DD Crow, Bujin Carnation, DD Crow, Bottomless Trap Hole, and Harume. So not the craziest hand from Extra Power, but DD Crow can definitely really hurt the Gem Knight deck. And as I talk about what some of these cards do, it might be a little more apparent. And then on the other side, we do see Volcanic Shell. We actually see two of them, Gem Knight Garnet, Kagado Kage, and Gem Knight Fusion. So they are going to be on kind of the advantage engine version of this deck. So that'll be kind of cool to see what they can do with this. But anyways, here they are going to draw for turn and get a copy of Mirror Force. From here, it looks like they're going to go Gem Knight Fusion, and this card says Fusion summon one Gem Knight Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or side of the field as fusion materials. And then the bonus effect that's really strong is if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one Gem Knight monster from your graveyard and add this card to your hand. And that adding back ability is not once per turn, so you can just infinitely do it while you have materials. So here they're going to get rid of the Garnet and the Shell and summon a copy of Gem Knight Citrine. This one needs a Gem Knight monster and a Pyro monster, so obviously the Volcanic Shell. It's a level 7, and it says must first be fusion summoned. If this card attacks or is attacked, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step, which is kind of ironic given, you know, Bujin is known for playing things like Crane and Honest and all those different types of cards. So kind of a funny, like weird counter in a sense. But anyways, here they are going to use Volcanic Shell, paying 500 life points to add another copy of Volcanic Shell from deck to hand. That also isn't a hard once per turn. From here, they're going to set the Mirror Force. And, oh, it looks like Extra Power actually has a response. They're going to DD Crow the Shell in Graveyard. Okay, so I guess there was a bit of a miscommunication. I don't know if there was like an internet problem or something where maybe there was a little bit of lag or something, or if they just played it a little too quickly there. So putting back the Shell actually, and then still just passing turn, Extra Power gets a copy of Torrential here. Here setting the Bottomless and Torrential, and they don't really have much else they can do. And here, funny enough, just setting the DD Crow, I guess maybe they think that, you know, the Gem Knight deck, if you don't know what it does, it can put up a lot of damage. So just putting a defender there in case, though also choosing to like DD Crow the Gem Knight Fusion can also be like a very big choke point in this deck in some cases. But if they don't know, maybe that's why they're choosing to set the Crow here. But back over to Zodiac Broadbull, who does get another copy of that Shell, so the one they had shuffled back. And here they're just going to go Battle Phase and run over the Crow and pass it back to Extra Power, who gets a copy of Tenki, so now they can get going here. They're going to activate Tenki, getting a copy of Yamato, and then summon the Yamato, and they go straight to end phase to add and send a copy of Hair over to Zodiac Broadbull, who gets a copy of MST. Here they go Battle Phase. And they say start a battle phase using the Hair, so obviously to be able to protect the Yamato here. And here the Citrine will still run over the Yamato. And, well, it gets protected from the Hair, but they attack over to do damage, I should say. Anyways, here it looks like Extra Power is going to normal summon the copy of Turtle and overlay for a copy of Diamond Direwolf. Use the Diamond Dire to try to pop the back row and itself, and it works, so they hit the copy of Mirror Force, and now the Bujin Carnation is live, so they can get back the Yamato and Hair. And then they're going to overlay for a copy of Susanoo, use the effect to add a copy of Crane. From here, they're going to go to battle phase and just run over the citrine. Luckily, it is large enough so they don't have to, get to that weird situation where the Crane isn't going to work. Back over to Zoodiac Broadbull, who gets a copy of Gem Knight Fusion. They go blind MST, hitting the Torrential. Here, they're going to set Volcanic Shell. Back over to Extra Power, who gets another copy of Crow. So now Extra Power is very much so back in this game. Here, using Susanoo to add a copy of Yamato, summon Yamato, go battle phase, attack over the shell, attack in with Yamato. Main phase 2, end phase, Yamato to send a copy of Quillen. Over to Zoodiac Broadbull, who gets an upstart, uses it, gets another upstart. The whole usual upstart situation here. Then the second upstart is going to get them into a copy of Gem Knight Garnet. And here they can summon it and then use Kagado Kage to special summon itself. Extra Power is going to think here, and they go bottomless on the Garnet. And that is enough for Zoodiac Broadbull to just scoop it up, which makes complete sense. They were kind of out of advantage and things they could do in that situation. So moving on to game number 2, opening hands, we see MST, Forbidden Lance, Breakthrough Skill, Upstart Goblin, and Bujingi Quillen. So again, not the greatest hand here from Extra Power. Unfortunately, they're going to have to claw their way back into it. And then on the other side, we see Kagado Kage, Gem Knight Lazuli, Gem Knight Obsidian, Gem Knight Fusion, and Gem Armadillo. So honestly, a very, very strong hand from Zoodiac Broadbull here. If you guys don't know what these do, I'll quickly go over it. Gem Knight Armadillo on normal summon is a Stratos for your Gem Knight monsters. Gem Knight Obsidian, if this card is sent from the hand to the graveyard, you can target one level 4 or lower normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So it works really well with your different types of normal monsters that Gem Knight has. And Gem Knight Lazuli, this one was used a lot later on, past H.A.T format, obviously for things like Brilliant Fusion that weren't out in H.A.T format. But this one says if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target a normal monster in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. But anyways, Broadbull will get to draw for turn, getting a copy of Upstart Goblin, going Upstart, getting a copy of Gem Knight Amber. This one, it's a Gemini monster, and usually, again, going back to like Brilliant Fusion, people would play this with Thunder Dragons and stuff when Brilliant Fusion was around. The effect of this one when it's re-normal summoned is once per turn, you can send a Gem Knight card from your hand to the graveyard and target one of your banished monsters, add that target to your hand. So really unique effect, but again, you'd have to re-summon it out or whatever, so they're probably just playing it for its Thunder typing, I should say, because one of the Gem Knight fusions does require Thunder, and it's pretty strong. But here, it looks like they're going to normal summon Armadillo and chain the Kagado Kage. And from here, Armadillo will be able to add a copy of Garnet, which again works really well with the Lazuli. Here, they're going to go Gem Knight Fusion and get rid of the Lazuli and Garnet to summon a copy of Citrine. From here, Lazuli can trigger to get back the Garnet. After that, I guess they were debating if that was legal or not. You definitely can do that here. After that, they're going to overlay the 2 4s for a copy of Lavalval Chain. I think also going back, what they were thinking is, I think maybe they weren't thinking about the requirements for Citrine being a Gem Knight monster and a Pyro, because Garnet is a Pyro, and then the Gem Knight obviously being Lazuli here. But anyways, going for Lavalval Chain, using the effect and detaching Armadillo to send a copy of Shell. Shell, pay 500 to add another copy of Shell. From here, they're going to banish the Lazuli to add back the Fusion. After that, they can use the Fusion, getting rid of the Amber and the Shell, to summon another copy of Citrine, overlay both for a copy of Dracosac, detach the Citrine to get 2 tokens. From here, banish the Citrine to add back the Fusion. And also kind of interesting that they left this in attack. I know that, Bujin usually isn't the type that can put up something like enough Xyz or material basically to make a 101. But in general, even though this can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, maybe just putting it in defense so that they can't like just do some damage or something might be a good idea, though. Again, it's really kind of irrelevant here. The other thing is if they wanted to, they probably should have used the other shell because, again, it is a soft once per turn. To add the third copy of shell if they are on 3. I don't know for sure, but if they are on 3, maybe adding the third copy would be good so that you don't have the risk of hard drawing it later on. Just a complete side note. But anyways, extra power here is going to get a copy of Yamato, which is very good. Going upstart, getting a hair, again, extremely strong. Going and summoning Yamato, battle phase over one of the tokens, setting 3 back row, and going end phase Yamato to add Mikazuchi, and then probably discard the hair here, which they are. Broad Bowl draws another copy of Lazuli. Here they're going to go Dracosac, and it gets met with Breakthrough. After that, Lavalval Chain is going to activate, sending a copy of Lazuli. Lazuli can then trigger to add the Amber. Oh, because it's a Gemini monster, right. So this is technically a normal monster, so they can add it back here. After that, they're going to go Gemnite Fusion, getting rid of the Obsidian and Garnet to summon a third copy of Citrine. So they are on 3 of that, right? Or is that 2? No, that is 3. Okay, cool. From here, Obsidian is then going to trigger. That says if this card is sent from the hand to the graveyard, you add a normal monster from your... Wait, is it special summon? You target a level 4 lower normal monster in your graveyard. Oh, okay, so it's going to special summon, not add. So here going for the Garnet, getting the Garnet back, and then going battle phase. They say start a battle phase. They're going to Lance the Citrine so that it can't run over the Yamato and prevent stuff like the Mikazuchi from activating here. But since, they just go to main phase 2 and use the shell. So they are adding the other shell. They probably should have done that the last turn, as I mentioned, banishing the Citrine and getting back the Fusion. And from here, main phase 2, they're going to be using the Fusion again, this time going for the Prismara. This is the one I was talking about. It needs a Gemnite monster and 1 Thunder monster. Must first be Fusion summoned, and then once per turn, you can send 1 Gemnite card from your hand to the graveyard and target a face-up card on the field and destroy that target. So again, this is just a really, really cool card to be able to pop different things, which at that rate, maybe there was a reason for the Dracosac. I don't think they used the ability of Dracosac. I think they tried to summon tokens, so this probably could have ran over this. Mikazuchi would be summoned. And then the main phase 2 here, they could have Prismara to pop the Mikazuchi. So maybe that was something. Oh, but the hair was also in graveyard. So I guess by doing this, they're playing around the fact that if the opponent has the Carnation, maybe? I'm not entirely sure why they're doing this, actually. But here they are. Yeah, they're going to use the Prismara and discard Lazuli. And here the hair is going to be chained. Lazuli's going to add back the Amber. Fusion is going to banish the Lazuli to add back the Fusion here. Reactivate the Fusion. Are they going to go for another? Yeah, they are. So they're going to go for a second one because, again, soft once per turn. Banish the Prismara to add back the Fusion, which here they can then use the ability again to this time pop the Yamato. But then, yeah, the Mikazuchi can trigger. So maybe, yeah, if they didn't use the effect of this to pop, they could have just attacked over and then kind of got back to that situation. They had a token, so they didn't have to worry about if a crane was dropped or something. So kind of interesting play there, but here the Mikazuchi is going to special summon, and then they are going to use the Fusion again, banishing the Obsidian this time. And over to Extra Power, who gets a copy of Tenki, and that's really, really strong because they can activate Tenki, add a copy of Harume, normal the Quillin, go for Susanoo, and this can attack all monsters, which is really, really good. They're going to detach the Quillin, and they're thinking what they're going to do, add a copy of Crane. After that, they're going to banish the Yamato to summon the Harume, go battle phase, run over the token, run over Lavalval Chain, and they're just changing the stats because of the Tenki. Attack over the Citrine, attack over the Prismara, and then attack over the Dracosac, drop the Crane. and then attack in with the Harume. Main phase 2, end phase, over to Zodiac Broadbowl, who gets a copy of Summoner Monk. Again, really, really strong. Being able to summon, switch it to defense, discard the fusion, summon a copy of Amber, overlay into a 101, use the ability, and take the Susanoo, go battle phase, run over the, or attack into the Harume, I should say. From here, extra power gets a copy of Crane. Back over to Broadbowl, who gets a Garnet, summon the Garnet, and swing in with that and the 101, or not the 101, did they? Oh, they just took it all off at once, so that's why they didn't show the attack there, but here extra power gets a copy of Warning, and they set the Crane, set the Warning, pass it over. Zodiac Broadbowl gets a copy of Debunk, goes battle phase, attack in with 101. Extra power's going to need something here. They go MST to hit the Debunk, and extra power ends up losing that one. Wow, so it kind of was back and forth. That starting board for Zodiac Broadbowl seemed really good, and then extra power clawed their way back into it, and I honestly thought they were about to take it there, but unfortunately they ran out of gas, so this is going to go into a game 3. This time extra power will get to start this one out, though. Opening hands, we see Yamato, Turtle, Mikazuchi, Hare, and Yamato. So all the monsters. And on the other side, we see Upstart Goblin, Armadillo, MST, Upstart, and Debunk. And extra power will get a draw for turn, getting a copy of Chalice. So let's see what they do here. They're going to summon Yamato, set Chalice, go end phase, add a copy of Crane, and get rid of, I would assume, the Hare here. Oh no, getting rid of the Turtle. Okay, that's kind of an interesting play, I guess. Well, I guess if they do think that the opponent's going to go for the fusion, the Armades-like one, then they can just Chalice it and then drop the Crane, so I guess that makes sense. Here, Zodiac Broadbowl gets the Lazuli. They're going to go blind MST, and it looks like extra power is going to Chalice their own Yamato just to give it some stats. Upstart is going to draw a Obsidian. Upstart is going to draw another Upstart, again, the usual stuff, and then into a Mirror Force. From here, Armadillo is going to be summoned using the effect to get Garnet, and they don't have access right now to a Gem Knight Fusion, so that is going to be a bit of a problem for them. Setting the Mirror Force and Debunk and over to extra power, who gets a copy of Honest, summon Hare, overlay for H.A.T. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so H.A.T. is live. Here they're going to activate, blowing up the board, attacking in with H.A.T., which they don't take damage here, because H.A.T. says that when you use the effect for the rest of the turn, your opponent takes no battle damage, so hopefully they catch that here. Oh, okay, they do catch it. And then over to Broadbowl, who gets another Obsidian, normal summons the Garnet, and just attacks in. It honestly could have been a little funny there, even though it is a joke in this sense, but you could have dropped Honest there, just because H.A.T. is a light monster, so that's kind of a funny thing they could have done too. Here, passing it back over to extra power, who gets a copy of Torrential. Summon Yamato, swing in for some damage. Main phase 2, set Torrential, end phase, go and add and send the Quillin over to Broadbowl, who gets a Kagado Kage, which unfortunately isn't good here, because they had summoned that Garnet, so they're just going to pass it back to extra power, who now gets breakthrough skill, and now they're very established here, and so they're going to normal the Mikazuchi, go battle phase, attack in with both, and let's see what they do. Set the breakthrough, end phase, Yamato add Turtle, send Turtle, and then Mikazuchi add the Carnation. Over to Broadbowl, who gets a Lazuli and sets it, and unfortunately this might just be the end of the game. Extra power gets a Lance. They're going to summon Crane, and yeah, Zodiac Broadbowl just scoops it up there. So very unfortunate. Maybe the game would have been a little different had they not summoned the Garnet there, but at the same time, you know, having 1900 and beating over that H.A.T. was kind of important too. So there's not really a good way to say how that would have turned out, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like on it, comment any questions or videos you want to see in the future, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to go down to the video description to find out how you can send in your hat format replays. But anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.